Let me tell you a secret most people don't understand about getting older. It's not about losing beauty, it's about rediscovering what it really means to live. I'm over 70, I've been divorced, widowed, had surgery, said goodbye to friends, and yet today I'm happier than I've ever been, not because life got easier but because I got wiser, and every single day I do 12 little things that make all the difference. This isn't one of those videos telling you to drink more water or smile more. No, my dear, we're going deeper than that. I'm talking about powerful soul-nourishing daily habits that real joyful older women practice starting today, not someday. So, if you've ever thought, is this it? Or, if you've quietly wondered, where did my spark go? You're in the right place. Because joy after 70 isn't rare, it's just rarely talked about. Honestly, stay with me, let's walk through the 12 things I and so many other happy women do daily to wake up with peace and go to bed with a smile. Habit 1. They begin the day with a grounding ritual. Most people wake up with the world already yelling at them. The alarm is blaring, the news is loud, the phone is buzzing, and just like that the day takes control of them. But happy older women, they do something different. They begin the day in silence, in stillness, in ownership of their time. They start with a grounding ritual, a simple daily moment that brings them back to themselves before the noise of the world can pull them away. For one woman, it's sipping chamomile while watching the sunrise. For another, it's writing a single line in a gratitude journal. Today I'm thankful I can still feel the sun on my face. Some meditate, others pray, stretch, breathe, or just sit quietly with a beloved memory. It's not about being productive, it's about being present, and in that quiet they remember, I'm still here, I'm still me. Science tells us that starting the day with stillness lowers stress hormones like cortisol, balances blood pressure, and sets a gentler tone for the hours ahead. But beyond the science, it's sacred, because when you wake up in your own arms instead of the arms of anxiety, you begin the day from a place of power, not panic. So ask yourself, what is the first voice I hear in the morning, mine or the world's? And what would happen if just for 10 minutes you gave your soul a seat at the table before anything else? Habit 2. They acknowledge pain but don't live in it. Let's be real, life after 70 doesn't come without its aches, some in the bones, others in the heart. Happy older women aren't happy because they're pain-free. They're happy because they've learned to make peace with their pain without letting it define their days. They don't pretend the grief is gone. They don't ignore the stiffness in their joints, but they've learned how to acknowledge it without bowing to it. Instead of saying, why me? They ask, what do I still have today that deserves my attention, my breath, my love? They understand that pain is a visitor, not a roommate, and every morning they decide how much space that visitor is allowed to take up. They talk about it, they write it out, they cry when they need to, but they don't let the pain write their entire story. And you know what that takes? Tremendous strength. Not the kind that lifts weights, but the kind that carries loss with dignity and still finds room for laughter. Joy and sorrow are not enemies, they're neighbors in the heart, and the happiest women over 70 have made room for both. So if you've been hurting and you feel like no one sees it, know this: you don't have to pretend you're okay, but you also don't have to let pain steal every sunrise. Let the pain sit beside you, but let you lead the way. Habit 3. They seek micro moments of joy. If you've ever thought joy was something big, something you had to chase or earn or buy, let me tell you what most cheerful women over 70 already know. True joy isn't loud, it's not a cruise or a 5-star dinner or some life-altering event. It's hidden in the ordinary, in micro moments, those tiny sparks most people rush past. Happy older women are collectors of small joys: a warm biscuit, the smell of lavender on her wrist, a memory that makes her laugh while folding laundry. They've trained their eyes to see it, the unexpected kindness, the peaceful pause, the way the light falls just right on the floor. And here's the beautiful part: the more you notice these small pleasures, the more they multiply. It's like your soul begins whispering, there it is again and again. Research even backs this up. Psychologists call it savoring, the conscious act of enjoying, and it's proven to increase emotional well-being and slow down negative aging patterns in the brain. One woman I know writes down 3 joys before bed, not big things, just real ones. My old cat blinked at me. I remembered my mother's laugh. The tomatoes finally ripened. You don't need a perfect life to feel joy, you just need a few open seconds and the willingness to see. Joy doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just quietly waits to be noticed. Habit, for they create before they consume. There's a quiet revolution happening in the homes of happy older women, and it often begins before the world even wakes up, before they scroll, before they answer messages, before they turn on the news or check the weather or respond to anyone else's energy they create. They bring something into the world from within themselves, a word, a drawing, a neatly made bed, a moment of however small, it's intentional. You see, creation doesn't have to be artistic or perfect, it just needs to be yours. Something you made that didn't exist before. Why does this matter so much? Because when you create before you consume, you choose to start your day from the inside out, not the other way around. You anchor yourself in your own spirit before the world tries to program you with noise, fear, or distraction. And here's what's beautiful: the act of creating, even for 5 minutes, stimulates the brain, boosts memory, and deepens emotional regulation. Studies have shown that creative engagement after 60 leads to longer life, lower rates of depression, and sharper minds. Happy women over 70 don't wait for permission to make something. They know that each day is a blank canvas, and before the phone rings, before the world demands their attention, they pick up the brush. So tomorrow morning, just for 10 minutes, try this. Create something, anything, a sentence, a sketch, a planted seed, and remind yourself you're still here, you're still creating your life. Habit 5, they dress themselves with love before the first phone call, before the errands. There's a small sacred moment in the lives of many happy older women, the moment they choose how to dress themselves for the day. They don't throw on anything, they don't dress for others, they dress with love. It's not about impressing, it's about honoring the woman they've become, the woman who survived storms and still chooses to shine. Happy older women don't shrink into invisibility, they wear what brings them joy, what makes their bodies feel comforted and their spirit feel seen, because clothing isn't just fabric, it's a form of self-expression. It tells the world, I still care about myself, I still want to feel beautiful, even if no one sees me today but me. And here's the surprising part: even the act of choosing an outfit thoughtfully signals the brain to expect a meaningful day ahead. It builds confidence, it builds routine, it reminds us we are worthy. These women don't chase trends, they wear what feels like them, what's soft on the skin, easy on the joints, and light on the heart. So tomorrow when you get dressed, don't ask what's clean, ask instead what feels like love today, because how you dress yourself is often how you treat yourself. Habit 6, they embrace stillness in a noisy world that worships speed. Most people are afraid of it, but not happy older women. They don't fear stillness, they treasure it. For them, stillness is not the absence of doing, it's the presence of being, and within that being they find peace, memory, breath, and sometimes answers. They know that the deeper wisdom doesn't shout, it whispers, and only stillness lets you hear it. It's where they feel the quiet strength of their ancestors, where grief can soften and joy can land gently. Stillness heals, it resets the nervous system, it slows the heart rate, it calms the mind that spent years being the family's rock, the caregiver, the warrior. You see, happy older women don't need constant distraction anymore. They don't fear their own thoughts. They've learned that sitting with yourself in silence is one of the most powerful acts of self-respect. They take 5, maybe 20 minutes a day to do nothing but be. No phone, no TV, no fixing, just listening, and in that silence something beautiful happens. Their spirit gets a chance to speak. So much healing begins in the quiet, and the most joyful women know this. You don't always have to do more. Sometimes you just have to be still and let the peace come to you. Habit 7, they perform a small act of service. The happiest older women don't ask what can the world do for me today? They ask, what can I offer? Even if it's small. Because over the years they've learned a powerful truth: serving others doesn't drain you, it fills you, especially when it comes from a place of love, not obligation. It doesn't have to be big. Call a prayer, a plate of food, a flower from your garden left on someone's doorstep. These women understand that happiness doesn't come from taking, it comes from connecting, from reminding someone else that they matter. And it's not about being needed, it's about being present enough to notice when someone else's day could be just a little lighter, and gentle enough to help carry it. And here's the secret: it's not just good for them, it rewires your brain to triggering feelings of joy, purpose, and connection that last for hours after the act itself. The most radiant older women know this. They may not move as fast, their hands may tremble, but their hearts have never been stronger. And with just one small act of service, they light a candle in someone else's life, and in doing so light their own. So today, give a little, not because you have to, but because you still can. And that, my dear, is a quiet kind of power. Habit 9. They curate what enters their mind. There comes a time in life when you realize not everything deserves a seat at your mental table. Happy women over 70 don't let just anything enter their mind. They're selective, not because they're avoiding reality, but because they finally know whatever you feed your mind becomes your mood. They may glance at the headlines, but they don't marinate in fear. They limit gossip, avoid constant complaining, and walk away from energy that feels heavy. It's not ignorance, it's boundaries, mental ones. Instead, they choose content that uplifts, educates, or calms them. A book that stirs their spirit, a meditation, a documentary that opens their mind. Neurologists now say that filtering what enters your mind is one of the best ways to protect cognitive health, especially after 60. The brain is like a sponge, and after decades of absorbing, happy women over 70 have finally learned to wring it out and let in only what feels true and useful. They understand if the mind is sacred ground, you must be its gardener. You don't leave the gate wide open, you pull the weeds. You plant beauty on purpose. So today, ask yourself, what have I been feeding my mind lately, and what would happen if I made it more beautiful, more peaceful, more mine? Habit 10. They talk to themselves kindly. You know what happy older women have learned, often the hard way, that the most important voice in your life is the one inside your own head. They no longer talk to themselves like an enemy. They don't whisper cruel things into their reflection. They don't say you're too old, too wrinkled, too late, because they've lived enough life to know they were always doing the best they could with what they had. And now they give themselves grace instead of harshness. They offer gentleness instead of judgment. They offer compassion. They say things like, it's okay to rest, you did well today, you are still worthy, still beautiful, still becoming, and science backs it up. Kind self-talk lowers stress levels, strengthens the aging brain, and even improves physical healing. They've stopped replaying mistakes on a loop. They've stopped comparing their now to anyone else's highlight reel. They speak to themselves like they would a cherished friend, with patience, with truth, with love. So the question is, what are you saying to yourself each day? Would you say it to your daughter? Would you say it to your best friend? If not, don't say it to yourself. Habit 11. They laugh every day. Even if alone, there's a secret medicine most happy older women take every single day, and it doesn't come in a bottle. It's laughter, and sometimes, yes, often it's laughter with no audience at all. These women have learned to laugh without waiting for company, because they know joy isn't a performance, it's a practice. They laugh at their own jokes, at the absurdity of life, at the way socks disappear in the dryer like it's a magic trick. They don't need a crowd to give themselves permission to smile. Science says laughter literally heals. It floods the body with endorphins. It eases pain. It boosts circulation and improves memory. And the most joyful women over 70 know something even deeper. Laughter is a rebellion against despair. It says, yes, life has hurt me, but it hasn't taken all of me. They know that aging comes with grief, with aches, with goodbyes, and yet laughter remains like a spark that Refuses to go out, so laugh today, not because everything is perfect, but because you're still here and life in all its mess and mystery still has moments worth giggling over. Habit 12. They end the day with a gentle reflection. The happiest older women don't let the day end in chaos. They don't fall asleep with the news still playing or the phone still buzzing on the nightstand. Instead, they end the day with a gentle reflection. It might be 5 minutes, 10 at most, but in that time, they ask questions like, what felt beautiful today? What did I learn? What can I let go of before I sleep? This isn't about reliving everything, it's about releasing, honoring what mattered, and gently laying the rest down. Some reflect through prayer, others with breathwork, meditation, or simply whispering thank you into the silence. It's how they turn rest into ritual and sleep into something sacred. Psychologists call it cognitive closure. The mind, especially as we age, needs endings, a soft landing, a moment to say, this day is done, I did my best. These women don't go to bed weighed down by regrets. They know every day holds something worth remembering and something worth releasing. So tonight, before you sleep, pause, write one sentence, say one prayer, close one old thought, and remind yourself you lived another day with grace. That's enough. You've just walked through 12 quiet, powerful habits, not flashy, not fast, not viral, but deeply human, deeply real. And these habits, they're not just tips or trends, they are choices made by wise, weathered, radiant women who've chosen to live their final chapters not in fear but in freedom. Maybe some of these habits already live inside you. Maybe others are just beginning to bloom. Either way, this is your reminder. It's never too late to become the woman you want to be, and don't worry about being perfect. Just begin where you are with what you have, and let the habits shape the days and the days shape your joy. Now I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me what's one habit you already do or one you'd love to start this week, and if this video touched you, share it with another woman who might need this message today, a friend, a sister, a daughter, or even your future self, because happiness after 70 isn't an accident, it's an art, and we're painting it.